Bag, I want the bag. Work my way from a garden to a track. Flip it from a track to a plot full of acres. Do it for the farmers and the producers and the makers. What we even here for? Occasionally I ask it. I know it's more than struggling, anticipating the casket. Reap what we sow, I'm trying to fill up my basket. Life's a plantation, I self-law and master. Over the plot, I've been granted on this planet. Now it's slanted, cause the chosen been supplanted. But if you overstand it, it was spoken. Fractured, but we ain't broken. Even though some would rather play the role of token, we growing. Black through the essence of our presence. We carry the blood of gods, we carry the mind of peasants. Rich black gardens, future look more like Eden. Multiply seeds like the seed banks in Sweden. Rep my planners on plan according to season. B1 code. Switching it up is treason. Black power, family what we eat. Either we get fed or we feed. B1AG.
Welcome black to B1AG. Here at B1AG, we focus on black agriculture as it pertains to agricultural production, education, marketing, health, food, nutrition, and economics, all for the black family and the black community. Welcome. I'm John Henry Harris, and we also have Farmer Brown, the MC. This is another episode of the Daily Bread Podcast. Now, Rick Ross, the biggest boss, world award-winning rapper, he's been around for a while now. He's a franchise owner of Wingstop. And, he references Wingstop in a lot of his raps, especially the lemon pepper wings, which is his favorite, lemon pepper wings. But being that it is a chicken wing business, he has definitely been affected by a lot of these supply chain shortages. And there is currently a big shortage, if you have noticed, on chicken wings in this country. Now, what may be causing this chicken wing shortage? Now, there's a soaring demand for chicken, especially chicken wings and chicken breast all across the country. And according to the country's third largest poultry producer, Sanderson Farms, which is based in Laurel, Mississippi, it said it does not have enough supply to keep up with the demand, despite recently picking up 40 million pounds per year. 40 million pounds of wings per year. That's a lot of chicken. But with the pandemic, a lot of more people eating out, it's definitely caused a shortage of chicken wings, which is again, a major product that Wingstop uses. So one thing that they're doing, what they've turned to do, which I think is pretty smart move, is that Rick Ross is helping Wingstop to launch Thighstop in response to the chicken wing shortage. It is a virtual add-on to Wingstop in which instead of you ordering chicken wings, you order chicken thighs, which apparently there is not a shortage of. But chicken thighs are the more flavorful piece of meat on the chicken, and they're gonna roll with that. And we're gonna dive deeper into this business move and also look into the fact that there is a chicken shortage in this country. Now, we just had a recent story about Jay-Z. He was launching his plant-based chicken nuggets. So now we're getting back to the real chicken, some real food here. So, Farmer Brian MC, what say you?
First, I'd just like to say peace to the B1 family. Hope everybody's doing well. What do they call it? The Hegelian dialectic. We'll call this the Hegelian dialectic of food. And so I think this is a perfect representation of how the melanated mind can work. And so the other day, like you said, we reported on Jay-Z investing in a young white male's company, Simulate. We're going to make simulated chicken since we know people like chicken. And then we have Rick Ross that's like, okay, instead of simulating chicken, even though I'm vested in wings, I'm going to find another piece of the chicken to market in a different way. And so I will say, once again, playing devil's advocate on either side, this is innovation applied. This is innovation being used to address a real issue that not only affects us as a community, but affects the world. Everybody that likes chicken products. It seems on the surface to be a simple discussion. Okay, this man wants to get simulated meat. This man is just going to get another piece of the chicken. But I think this goes a lot deeper into one of the reasons we're like to continue this B1AG conversation is really identifying all of these different unique niches that not only can be filled, but need to be filled within agriculture. I've been getting bombarded with these stories left and right about, corn, the prices with that dropping. China is basically, our relationship with China isn't too good with agriculture. I'll leave it with there as far as North American producers. You're looking at the West Coast, the droughts are, people are losing billions of dollars worth of crops this year. It's only projected to get worse when we keep having these conversations about climate change, reducing greenhouse gases. That is directly going to affect the 48% of Black producers or melanated producers who are raising livestock. When we go back to the purpose of the simulate chicken, that was one of the main reasons that was being created, is to address the large CAFOs, confined animal feeding operations, when we're talking about poultry production. And so all of these are aerodynamics within it. Agriculture isn't just plows and sows. There is really science applied to this. And as consumers, as conscientious observers, there are definitely a lot of implications. And I would like to say Rick Ross is a lightweight marketing scientist right now.
Definitely. Rick Ross, he's taking that music hustle and basically just switches out music, and whatever product he's pushing, he uses the same energy and, his same skill promoting that product as well. Again, Rick Ross, he is a franchise owner of 25 Wingstop locations. And he launched yesterday, that he's helping the company launch its first virtual brand, Thighstop. Now, the whole idea of Thighstop came from the way to address a shortage of chicken wings. So instead of chicken wings, the company will offer consumers exclusive thighs by way of Thighstop and DoorDash. So you have 10 flavors on the menu, and of course, lemon pepper will be included. And Rick Ross, what he says of Thighstop is that we back outside and it's time to take it to the next level. You know how Wingstop perfected wings? Now just imagine the juiciest part of the meat and we boss it up, baby. And there it is. And that's why you have Thighstop.
I got some trivia for you, bro. So on average in North America, so we know there's 3.5 million farmers. What is the average salary of a producer, food producer, agricultural producer? What's the average salary? And this is including, the other group.
From the biggest farms down to the smallest farms, now, average, I would say $38,000 a year.
75.
Wow. Okay.
75. That's average producer. Now, what is the average salary of an ag marketer? Because this is what Rick Ross is, boss it up, right? What is the average salary of an ag marketer?
Now, I know a lot about business, so when you get into sales and marketing, I'm thinking like 150,000 a year.
108. Good guess.
Okay.
108. This for anybody watching that's, might have some youth or, wanting to change your career. I really think hard about the Booker T. Watley concept of, avoid the middleman like a plague. But we know when we're trying to get agricultural products sold, especially within the melanated producer community, we're going to have to apply marketing. Mainstream farmers have Kroger. They have, mainstream media to promote the image of them being the prototype of agricultural producers. And so that same energy, that same effort of marketing is unavoidable if we're going to create this windfall of opportunity for what we call Black producers. But saying that to say this is a career. Rick Ross did say he's going out on his farm now, riding his own tractor, cutting his own grass. But technically, an ag marketer might not ever spend any time on a farm, but their role within agriculture is just as, if not equally important as the producer. As we're talking about salaries, and this is as of June 2021, $108,000 for ag marketing. This is, B1AG, we're kind of a mixture between education, marketing, promotion, just of the concept. Not to deviate or digress too far away what we're talking about, this is why it seems like, it's abstract. Why these dudes just keep talking about ag. I ain't heard you talking about how to plant no tomatoes. We can't skip steps. There is a reason why American agriculture is $1 trillion business. When you think about the production of food, that's only a small piece of it. The value-added products is what brings value to a lot of the products. It's one thing I can grow some tomatoes. I take a chance that there's a grocery store that's going to buy a large amount of my tomatoes, or there's going to be a farmer's market that's going to let me in. But what if I've developed a special salsa? What if I've developed a special tomato paste, tomato sauce that I can now, it will justify me leasing more land or purchasing more land, or creating a cooperative model with some other tomato producers to increase our market share. So the point I'm saying is there's so much more to agriculture than just, being out in the field. And I think this opportunity, just watching Rick Ross move, it excites me. It excites me because I understand as melanated men and women are exerting their mind power to solving the world's problems of food production. In this situation, it's a shortage on chicken wings. Just like that, he's literally created a whole new market. Okay, we ain't got wings, I'm going to do thighs. We know with him saying boss it up, something as simple as just boss it up, that is going to create easily hundreds of thousands, if not millions more consumers who's now going to buy this chicken product that normally wouldn't be sold as a high value product had it not been for the marketing genius of who we call Rick Ross. I hope the family's paying attention to what's going on.
And I really do hope they notice how many of, these artists and entertainers that we look up to or have looked up to, whether it's just for entertainment or even as inspiration, that how many of them are really looking to and turning towards agriculture, agriculturally based businesses, value added businesses, as well as land ownership. I mean, these are the things that drive us daily. We have to eat. Land ownership, that's a cornerstone of building generational wealth or just wealth in general. Even with gardening and farming and food production, I mean, we gotta eat. And there's not enough producers. The demand for food is going up and the number of producers are going down. And that's a serious inequality, imbalance that we must address. And I mean, who would think that Sanderson Farms in Laurel, Mississippi, that they 40 million pounds a year of chicken wings, and that's not enough to meet the demand. How about that?
That's just in North America, I assume.
Yes.
That's just in North America.
That's a lot of chicken wings, bro.
That's a lot of hormone. That's a lot of hormone injected poultry. Which once again, so I know up here in Kentucky and some of the communities where it's a lot of Hispanics, you hear a lot of roosters. You see a lot of little chicken coops in the backyards, and this is in the neighborhoods. This isn't out in the rural area. I've talked to a couple of them like, we don't eat what's in those stores. They produce their own. Here at B1AG, for the most part, we talk about plant production, but I mean, we got to keep it real. A lot of us consume egg products. A lot of us consume poultry, obviously. And so, how much energy and time and thought, effort are we putting into, okay, I'm gonna have me a garden over here. I'm gonna raise me a handful of chickens in the backyard. I'm gonna use some of this chicken manure to fertilize my garden. Some cultures, this is just normal to them. What do Young Thug say for years? Lifestyle This is lifestyle. This is normal. So our thing with this conversation is, how do we make these things not only a normal conversation, but a normal action item? When I think about Aisha Curry, so she has a cooking show. She has a cookbook. Mark Wahlberg, he's not melanated, but he had made a statement. He has a food chain called Mark Wahlburgers. And he said, I realized what a great opportunity it would be to build a business with my family and pass it on to generations. This is what he said about Mark Wahlburgers. He realized, okay, I got X amount of people that look at me as an icon, celebrity, Wahlberg. When you hear the word burg, okay, you think of burgers. And so I'm going to make a burger chain. Same thing as Rick Ross understand, we're going to boss up the sauce or whatever. You think about Snoop Dogg partnering with, Martha Stewart. Snoop isn't stupid. He understands, okay, there's a group of people around this world that recognize my brand, and anything I tie my name to, there's going to be a groundswell of people who's going to shop with it. And so, I know he has different cannabis strands as well as cooking shows. Robert De Niro, he has a chain of eateries around the world. Tia Mowry, when we think of Tia, the twins, she has a cooking channel, the Mowry at Home Show. Patti LaBelle, when we're talking about these value-added products, those pies, rolls, like she has a whole food line. We think about Pharrell Williams, and so he's opened up an indoor-outdoor restaurant. And so we think about a lot of these social distancing protocols that are only going to become more prevalent within our culture. Pharrell Williams is investing. Okay, I'm gonna have these healthy spots that we can have them outdoor and indoors. Ludacris has a chicken and beer series that basically he's got a partnership with a couple of airports. And so I'm bringing these names up to say we tend to just keep seeing the entertainment value of what we call icons, what we call celebrities. But when we follow this concept of following the money, you see that, okay, they're not investing in record labels. They already have record labels. Okay, I remember when we was growing up, everybody wanted to have a clothing line. But this isn't what you're seeing. You're seeing a lot of these A-list celebrities literally investing in the food system. I say this in excited voice because I realized maybe one individual, and we was stressing this the other day talking about Boosie. Maybe one individual doesn't have just $1 million, 500,000 to go to the bank and start a food chain. But if we're following the money, we see like, okay, if we're working cooperatively in a cooperative economic model, maybe for every one celebrity that can do this, 50 of us concerned individuals, conscientious individuals, woke individuals in our respective communities can follow these same patterns. Maybe it's worth reaching out to these brothers like, hey, Rick Ross, here in South Carolina, we like your model. We got 50 of us. We got X amount of acres of land. We got equipment. We got a team of farmers that already raise poultry. We want to continue your franchise. Either expand an existing franchise or create your own. But saying that to say, being creative within this system, the main agricultural problem addressed was we have a shortage of wings. We have a shortage of wings. The solution was I'm gonna bring value to the thighs. Potatoes. And so one of the other items at Rick Ross's Wingstop is potatoes. We realized that at McDonald's, for example, Bill Gates is growing their potatoes. This seems arbitrary. Who cares about potatoes? But think about it. Every French fry you eat, the natural ones, are derived from a potato. And so it seems like just a mundane crop to grow, but you realize, okay, we're funding wing shops. We're sourcing these restaurants. We're sourcing these cafes. We're sourcing, these people that got these different value-added products. So growing something as simple as potatoes. When we think about Jason Brown, the center, he used to be the highest paid center for the Rams, $25 million. He doubled his income by quitting football to become a sweet potato farmer. Literally just sweet potatoes, because he realized, okay, people eat sweet potatoes. You can get sweet potato pie, sweet potato souffle. The other day I was up in Cleveland. I had never had sweet potato soup before, but it's masterful. And so you have all of these value-added products from what seems to be just these mundane crops. When we ask the question, because people ask all the time, well, how can we help Black farmers? We will burn ourselves out. We will burn our engines out, continuously going to the usual suspects asking them to, hey, I know you're going through drought. Y'all's farm operations ain't doing too well. So will you stop focusing on yours and focus on ours? That's not realistic. We see if we have one Rick Ross, and we have at least, I would say, at least a few dozen hip hop celebrities, hip hop movie stars in the melanated community who are already investing in food products and food services and restaurants. And I'm being very practical right now. It isn't pocket watches, and it's being practical. Nobody wants you wasting their time. You know, a lot of people aren't in the game of, hey, let me help lift you up, adult. Like, nobody's in that game. But if you come at somebody with a plan, specifics, hey, I know you got this restaurant, and I see that you consume 5,000 pounds worth of potatoes in a year. Like I'm saying with the French fry dynamic. Here in South Florida, we grow a lot of this. I think we were talking about a certain type of salad you were talking about. What's that?
Yeah, that's the conch salad.
The conch salad. And so, okay, in our section, okay, we got 25 acres over here that we can just grow the lettuce for this salad. We're gonna employ. You know, we're not gonna ask nobody to do nothing for free. We're gonna employ some of these entertainers. We need you to talk about this conch salad that you can only get from this particular melanated owned company. And it is at least 65, if not more, % sourced from melanated fingers growing this on melanated owned land. Once again, these are very practical solutions. I hate to seem like I'm excited, but I really am. Rick Ross never ceased to amaze me. I remember back when Every Day I'm Hustling came out. I just liked the beat. You know, I liked his verses. I thought he's real good at spitting. I know for a while there was a controversy about, he's a security, he's a jail, a security guard or whatever. But entertainment is entertainment. I think he came out and he was honest, like, I'm an entertainer. But I think when we talk about, you know, just as us, you know, I speak for gentlemen. You know, we're in our 40s now. Like, oh man, we done lived a little bit. We got karma we got to deal with. I think he's definitely, along with Bootsy and others, creating a model of, now, how do we deal with this karma? We know we've contributed, all of us on a large scale or small scale, to the consumption habits of our community. Any one of us that's gotten on a microphone talking about turning up, drinking liquor, smoking weed, you know, banging whatever, we've contributed to some of the problems that we see that are plaguing us. Some of the problems that have contributed to somebody not being like, I don't want to be a farmer. I want to be one of these rappers. You know, these rappers look like they got it made. These athletes, these entertainers look like they got it made. And so by the nature of you doing your job, whether you're trying to do it or not, you're just trying to get a bag. You're putting out to the community. You're putting out to impressionable minds that let me get away from the land and let me get on this stage. Let me get on this court. And so instead of Rick Ross taking the pound cake approach, as some before us, he's literally creating a blueprint. The same way with Master P in the grocery store chains. And so I got people turned up, crunk, you know, a lot of bodies getting triggered by some of this music. But at the same time, there's farms that's making money because Rick Ross done came up with a way, okay, now we ain't got to waste these chickens. We can actually get more for these chicken thighs now than what they were before I came up with Thighstop. And I think it's masterful, man, and it's science. It's melanated science.
And I don't know about you, bro, but I always like chicken thighs, you know, especially the boneless, skinless chicken thighs, because I cook myself, especially on the barbecue grill. And it is something delicious for all your people out there. It is something to behold and taste. Masterful. I'm a pit boss, for real. So anyway, chicken thighs, they are the most flavorful part of the chicken. You know, there's enough of fat to keep it juicy, and the dark meat there's a sweeter taste to it. That's the part of chicken I eat anyway. You know, that's when I throw them skinless, boneless, skinless chicken thighs on the grill and smoke them and season them up. It's a delicious thing. So I already know it's going to be a lot of success with this. Because at the end of the day, I mean, people like chicken, period. You know, most people, like, they only eat white meat, you know, for whatever reason. Everybody has their taste or preference. But I really do like the chicken thighs anyway. So I'm looking at this and I'm like, man, this is really smart. It's a good idea. And the fact that they're launching it virtually, they're not changing any of the processes of the operation of the business outside of, okay, if you want these chicken thighs, you just go online and it's just an additional part of the menu. Easy to implement. And again, you got this is Rick Ross. He's going to make sure he's ensuring the continuance of his business because he owns 25 of these restaurants, 25, and that's just Wingstop. We're not talking about all the rallies, checkers that he has. He's invested in food. And one more point I would like to make out there to the B1AG family. All this is coming because it all started because he was a fan of Wingstop lemon pepper chicken wing. He took something that he actually liked and invested in it and made it a business and became part of that business. And I challenge everyone out here that hears our voices to do the same. If you like apples, and if you just happen to know an apple producer or know of a great value-added product that you can make from apples, turn into a business. Turn into a business.
Marketing. Let me read a paragraph for you. So you brought up a great point about a lot of us just by default chicken wings. Because this, when you go to you at a Super Bowl party, you out turning up, the first thing come to your mind is I want a chicken wing, right? That was marketed. One of the subjects we consistently talk about on B1AG is social engineering and social marketing. So when we think of bacon in our minds, our parents' mind, probably some of our grandparents, depending on how old we are, is normal. Like you see bacon as a part of just breakfast. But in 1890, the people, our ancestors that lived in 1890, bacon wasn't a part of our breakfast menu. It was 128 years ago in 1891, George Hormel founded a company in Austin, Minnesota. And this is when they came up with the marketing idea because they had extra pieces of a pig. And like, you know what? This would taste great with what we call breakfast. Hormel has an annual sales of $500 million. And this is mainly because of bacon. It got started 128 years ago. And this has everything to do with what Rick Ross is talking about with these thighs. In 1890, the value of a pig's stomach and the different places where you can cut bacon from, hey, this is just a piece that we kind of throw away. After we've got the main pieces, the prime cuts that we want, there's nothing else to do. But George Hormel founded a company, and hey, we'll get that extra piece of this pig that you have no use for. And then once again, when we're getting into value added, once again, when we're getting into our ingenuity, how to get the most out of the least. And it's a $500 million a year business because over 128 years, I've socially marketed to you that your breakfast meal isn't complete without bacon. If you're a restaurant that came along after that date, by default, now you're naturally going to include bacon into your breakfast menu. Oh, you like bacon in your salads now. Bacon wasn't a primary product until 1891. Let's put this in perspective. And this is why I'm stressing when it comes to our ability to market and drive culture. How many other products that we know melanated farmers are more than capable of producing on a large scale with minimal inputs? We see that these melanated farmers aren't getting help from the central government. We see trying to break into certain markets and grocery stores, that can take a while. We see that this discussion about reparations is turning into one trick bag after another. And so what is something like bacon? When I say bacon, literally and metaphorically speaking, what are the things that, people tend to throw off to the side? I was looking at a documentary the other day. I forget the name of it. It'll come to me in Eating High on the Hog. And it was just talking about how historically, our ancestors, okay, we got the worst of everything and we turned it into what's now become staples of American food system. And so here in 2021, when we see the world has changed, everything is in disarray. The products that used to just always be available are somehow at a shortage. Nobody's going to be at a shortage of being hungry. You know, as we have and we're fortunate because we have a whole new layer of young consumers that don't know what good food is or bad food is, soul food is. The same way wings as being the main thing we eat when we go to a party was marketed to us. Hey, when you go to your Super Bowl party, make sure you get some wings. Hey, when you have your birthday party or whatever, make sure you got the wings. Rick Ross has poisoned himself to make thighs this same dynamic as wings or bacon or anything else that has now become a staple of our diet. Let us expand this into what are other products that we as a community, as a culture, as consumers can be like, I like my sweet potatoes this way. And we have companies that are able to build wealth over decades, not just the business. You know, I took a couple pictures on Instagram. Hey, you know, black business open. No, you're literally setting a trend of what people eat. And so now I'm still tying this to Hormel, right? And tying this to Rick Ross. I'm not as abstract as what it seems. Hormel, now think about how many contracts they have across the world for somebody that wants a bacon product. We know in 1890, nobody was thinking about bacon. But in 1891, George Hormel, you know, a little small family operation, found a way to use a certain part of a pig to create a product. And so now, years later, they literally probably have, I would say, thousands of contracts of people that will only buy bacon from them. Rick Ross thinking far down the road, you know, family wealth. Because we know, CDs are obsolete. There was a time, oh my God, CDs, cassettes. All of these are obsolete. And so I was listening to a podcast about Nina Simone. She doesn't own none of her content. Her family is now fighting, and they were talking about vice president having a hand in why there's a white company that owns all of Nina Simone's work, right? When we're dealing in the music industry, it's a cutthroat industry. So once again, we look at these celebrities as icons because of the content that they create, the music they create, the entertainment they've created. But when you look at the back end and you follow the money, they're not the major beneficiaries. And we literally see one generation, 2 generations down the road, their progeny, their children, their grandchildren aren't benefiting from the hell they went through. They're not benefiting from the decades of work they put in. But when you're marketing something like Rick Ross is doing with these thighs, something very simple, it seems mundane. Nobody's selling platinum thighs, they're selling diamond. It's one thing I sell you a $5 CD, but somebody like Rick Ross, you know, because I've made thighs important in 2021, using my leverage by 2030, because, you know, we had this groundswell, almost like an avalanche effect, because we had now all of these people to now say chicken thighs are just as important as wings, and you're going to shop with me, my form of chicken thighs. What did you say his favorite flavor is? Lemon pepper? I imagine Rick Ross is savvy enough to have some of these recipes patented as his own boss sauce. And I'm being silly, but not. So saying that to say, realistically speaking, you're more likely to get a residual check from a product like a chicken thigh, an agricultural product that you're able to stamp. You know, this ain't the days of Aunt Jemima, Nancy Green. This ain't the days of Uncle Ben's or Famous Amos, where you come up with these recipes and products and you get no credit for it. We're in the age of transparency. Everybody sees everything online. And so this is the time for us to piss on the bush, family. This is time for us to claim our fame and drive this culture. Chicken thighs is one example. There's literally hundreds of agricultural products grown around the world, hundreds. When we think about the different plants, people are talking about insects, and they don't take it like I'm promoting, you know, getting into to growing insects for consumption, but I'm telling you, this is where the world is going. There are some people, when we think about escargot, these are snails. And I imagine somebody has a patented recipe for preparing snails. We're in a time where the world is changing. You know, I don't want to talk your heads off. We're in a time where the world is changing. People's diets are changing. The way that we've been used to producing food and receiving food is changing. I bet my great-great-grandmother never thought that there would be a such thing as a flying drone that will fly to her doorstep with a bag that would drop a meal off to eat. But this is now reality in 2021. My mother would have never thought, okay, I'm in a day and time I could just, you know, get on a something called a cell phone, because my mom come up, you had these landlines. You know, there's one thing ordering pizza, but then there's another thing. I don't even talk to nobody. I just a couple buttons, and something comes to my door. We are poised now, family, to change some. I'm a person, shoot for the stars. If you fall short, you still land on the moon. But we can change the food culture because our ancestors already did it, but they didn't get patents for it. They didn't get credit for it. And we see there's this effort to kind of wipe away history. But there's also a large enough grassroots voice to say no. And it's one thing fighting somebody wiping out your history, but we have a chance to create history and changing this food system. And not only changing what it is people eat, but re-representing ourselves in the field of who's producing it.
Just want to put this picture up for everyone to see. This is off of Rick Ross's Twitter yesterday. Where flavor gets its thighs. Y'all see it. Sitting in front of his sprawling Atlanta mansion. Bentley trunks wide open, full of Wingstop, Thighstop, chicken thighs, and all their deliciousness. Great marketer. Great businessman.
Ag market, $108,000 a year average salary for young people that's tech savvy, that's artistic, in the graphic arts. It's one thing I'm just, look at me, but it's another thing, look at me, got thousands of people looking at me, and I'm drawing you to a product that I'm getting a percentage of. I'm getting a residual from.
And residual income, if you don't know what it is, Google it. Residual income will save you. Residual income makes the world go round. Residual income is a big part of generational wealth. Now, if you have any questions for us, or just want to show off your garden, hit us up at B1AGHipHop@gmail.com. Because we'd love to see what you got growing on. We'd love to see that. And also, we are big advocates of growing your own food. Again, like we stated before, we talk about a lot of things in agriculture across a broad spectrum. But when it all boils down to it, we advocate you growing your own food, eating healthy, and eliminating these toxins out of your life. So you can get Black to the Garden by going to healthyblackfood.com and sign up to learn how to grow your own food. Sign up. Again, use the promo code podcast for 30% off. Now, Rick Ross, the biggest boss, Lemon Pepper King. We can learn a lot from Rick Ross. Just over the course of his career, and a lot of these rappers, period. They're, as you see when they came into the game as young men and women, their content was a certain way. But as they're growing and maturing and accumulating real wealth and getting more insight as they travel the world, we see where their content is going and where their real life business practices what is receiving the real energy. And that is definitely, a lot of it centers around food. And that's something that we all need to look at. But if you really, really, really want to know something, it's something you can do for yourself. You know what I'm saying? And matter of fact, it's your God-given right that you can do this yourself for you. You ain't got to do it for nobody else but yourself. But if you really, really, really want to know something, what do they need to do, Farmer Brown?
Put $1 million in your duffel bag and learn how to grow something.
There it is, y'all. I'd like to thank you for tuning in to Daily Bread Podcast. Hope to see you soon. Be prosperous. Have a growth state of mind. Chase that wealth. Matter of fact, let wealth chase you. You might need to slow up a little bit. Just stop running and just take a nice little cool stroll and let wealth chase you down. How about that? We're going to do that today. We're going to let wealth chase us down and give us a big old bear hug. And that's what we're looking for. So, hopefully see you soon. B1AG, Daily Bread Podcast. I'm John Henry Harris. And we got Farmer Brown, the MC. And hope to see you tomorrow or maybe later on today or whenever. We hope to see you soon. And hopefully you have a big smile on your face and you can give me a high five. Like, you know what? Wealth caught me yesterday, just like you said. And let's share them stories too. So see you soon. We're out.